What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Flame Entertainment and Sports. It's your boy Rob here. Hope everyone's doing good out there. Have a fun show for you all today. Before we get into the topics, make sure to check us out on Instagram and TikTok at the flame_ES. On today's show, we're going to be, as always, starting off in the entertainment world. Although Dancing with the Stars did come to a close a couple weeks ago, we do have some news that we could talk about involving Jen and Sasha. And we also have some news involving Julianne Hough. And then after that, we're going to be talking a little bit about Taylor Swift as the Eras Tour finally came to a close this past weekend in Vancouver, Canada. Taylor played the final three shows of the Eras Tour. And, such a successful run she had with this tour. And, it's arguably the greatest tour of all time in the history of music. So, yeah, congratulations, to Taylor and everyone involved with putting on these amazing shows. Then we're going to move on and we're going to finish the entertainment talk by talking a little bit about some movie news. Timothée Chalamet, he's gone viral in the last couple of days. He was on College Game Day this past Saturday, and he showed that he knows college football, and people have kind of been like going crazy about it because I don't think anyone really knew that he was a big sports guy or that he had such big sports knowledge. Then our final thing to talk about, in the movie industry, in our entertainment section, will be, right now the movie industry is really thriving due to the big box office success of Wicked and Moana 2. Then after the entertainment talk, we're gonna move into the sports world. As always, gonna be talking a little bit about some college football. We won't have Paul on today, but we'll be sure to have him on next week so we could preview next week's playoff games that are coming up. But yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about college football, talk a little bit about, Miami ultimately not, making the college football playoff. Then I'll kind of do a rundown as to who made the college football playoff. Then in NFL, talk about the Dolphins and their big overtime win against the Jets. And I'll give my thoughts on this Sunday's upcoming game against the Houston Texans. Then we'll move on to the NBA. We'll talk a little bit about the Miami Heat as they're currently on a 3-game winning streak. They are 12-10, so 2 games above 500, and they, most recently beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, who currently have the best record in the league right now. And we also have some Jimmy Butler talk, as recently Shams Charania, the ESPN insider for the NBA, he put out a report involving Jimmy being traded from the Heat. Then we'll move on a little bit to Major League Baseball, as Juan Soto became the highest paid professional athlete in sports history, as he leaves the New York Yankees and joins the New York Mets. And then I'll give some thoughts on the Miami Marlins as they traded away my favorite player and, one of the fan favorite players in general, Jake Berger. So with all that said, a lot of topics to cover for you all. Now let's get into it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy this episode. Alright guys, so to start off in the entertainment world, we're going to be talking a little bit about, some people from Dancing with the Stars. So this past weekend, Taylor Swift finished the Eras Tour in Vancouver, Canada. And, rumored couple from season 33 of Dancing with the Stars, Jen Tran and Sasha Farber, they were in attendance, I believe, at 1 or 2 shows this past weekend. And Allison Hannigan, who was Sasha's partner in season 32, she was also in attendance, as well as her daughter and I think some other people. But yeah, obviously Jen and Sasha, they were, a great couple to watch on, Dancing with the Stars this season. And of course, ever since they were eliminated, they kind of been posting, they kind of, and people kind of seem to think they're a couple. I personally think it's more of them, trying to just get some engagement and, attention on social media rather than them being being a couple. But with that said, if they were to say, "Oh, we are a couple," I wouldn't be shocked either. But I really don't think they are a couple. But I understand the people who do believe they are, because I mean, basically every single day they're posting together. They're at, Jen's at Sasha's house now. They're going to concerts together. They're going to eat together. Sasha's cooked dinner for Jen at home before. So there's a lot of clues that make you believe they're a couple. But ultimately, we really don't know if they are. But with that said, it's cool to see them, having fun. And whether they are or not a couple, it does seem like they enjoy being, around each other. So perhaps it's either a couple or a friendship, but it's cool to see. And then some other news in the Dancing with the Stars world. So Julianne Hough, of course, one of the hosts of the show, along with Alfonso Ribeiro, she was spotted a couple of days ago with a Bachelor Nation star, I guess you could call him. His name is Tanner. He was on Charity Lawson's season of The Bachelorette, and he happens to be good friends with Joey, who, of course, was on Charity season and who, recently won season 33 of Dancing with the Stars with Jenna Johnson. And I do know that Tanner was in attendance for most of the season 33 tapings of Dancing with the Stars. So perhaps, Joey introduced, Tanner and Julianne, and, maybe they've been seeing each other, and this was really maybe their first time being public. Maybe they did it. They didn't want to perhaps create like a distraction in the middle of the season, and perhaps they just waited. Or perhaps, they're just friends and they're just hanging out for now. Maybe they're not an official couple, but I thought I would talk about it because it is Dancing with the Stars related, being that it's Julianne Hough. And then it's funny too because for those of you who watched the finale of Dancing with the Stars, if you remember after Danny and Whitney's freestyle, we saw some flirting going on with Danny and Julianne. So perhaps that was just more for the camera, and there's nothing going on between Julianne and Danny. Who knows? But I just wanted to kind of talk about it really quickly on here because I feel obviously Dancing with the Stars, like I said, the season ended, but I still kind of want to, sprinkle in some Dancing with the Stars talk even in the off season, And now some other, stuff to talk about in the entertainment world. So as I said in the intro, Taylor Swift, she's officially finished the Eras tour. It finished this past weekend in Vancouver, Canada. She played 3 shows there, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And yeah, the greatest music tour of all time comes to a close. It started in March of 2023, and it ends in December of 2024. It was a long run. Taylor and her team did an incredible job. They went to the majority of, I would say, NFL stadiums around the United States. Obviously, they also toured beyond the United States. They went to, obviously finishing in Canada. They went to some other countries, Spain, England, a lot of countries, and it was just, such a historic tour that they put out. Taylor, congrats to her, congrats to all the dancers, all the people behind the scenes, just congrats to the whole Taylor Nation team. They did an incredible job, and, it's going to go down as arguably the greatest music tour of all time by any artist or group. And yeah, I'm blessed to, I've been able to go to night 3 of the Eras tour here in Miami. And if you guys haven't checked that out, I did an episode. It's been a while already. It was back in October, but I did an episode kind of recapping my experience. And yeah, it's just a blessing, to have been able to witness, such a historic tour and to witness, one of the greatest artists of all time. So congratulations to Taylor, and I hope everyone in attendance at these shows had a great time. And I'm kind of in the process actually too of reaching out to some people who are in attendance of any of the final shows to see if they'd come on to kind of give more of a personal experience, being that they're actually there for these final shows in Vancouver. So I hope to bring someone on who was in attendance pretty soon. And then also in the entertainment world, I want to mention really quickly Timothée Chalamet. He's been going viral. He was on ESPN's College Game Day show this past Saturday morning, and they had him on there. He gave his predictions for a couple of games, and he did a tremendous job. And it wasn't just like, he was picking a random team. What really stands out to people is that he picked the team, and then he'd give actual factual evidence, right, to back up that decision as to why he picked that certain team. And yeah, it's been pretty cool to see that clip going viral. And what was it, Tuesday night, I believe, or Monday night, was the red carpet premiere of A Complete Unknown, which is Timothy's upcoming movie where he plays Bob Petty, the famous singer. And, he was asked about this on the red carpet, and it was pretty cool, that now people know that he's, like a sports fanatic or a sports expert, whatever you want to call it. And with that said, I love to have, Timothy come on the Flame Entertainment and Sports, talk some movies, but we could also talk some sports, that's what I love to do on here. So it'd be an honor to have him on here to, kind of see where his love for sports began, and if he's always been a sports fan, what's his favorite sport. Like, I love to kind of dig into that and kind of discover who he is as a sports fan. So I think that'd be pretty cool. And then finally, in the entertainment world as well, the movie industry right now. I'm a big movie theater guy. I'm sure I've mentioned it on here before, kind of old school with that. I prefer to watch a movie in the theater rather than at home on, Netflix or one of these streaming services. I like the whole experience. I think it's special. So I'm really happy to say that the movie industry right now is doing a great job these last couple of weeks. Specifically because of Wicked. Obviously, a huge musical movie. Everyone's raving about it. I haven't watched it yet. I want to because I love musicals, and I've never actually seen Wicked like on Broadway, but I'm a big musical fan. Obviously, been watching Ariana Grande that she was on Victorious and Sam and Cat. So to see her now in this big blockbuster film is just amazing. So I can't wait to watch it. I'll probably do some type of recap. Maybe I add it into next week's episode if I do end up watching it before then, or perhaps I just do like a mini type of like bonus episode where I'm just giving my overall thoughts, and it's one of those quick episodes. But and another movie that is doing amazing is Moana 2, which of course is a huge Disney animated film series or film franchise, whatever you want to call it. I still haven't seen the original Moana. I know most people love it, and I've only heard great things about this sequel of it as well. So maybe I'm not sure if I'll end up watching this one, but I'll definitely end up watching Wicked at some point, and I'll be sure to report back to give my thoughts on it. But yeah, it's gonna wrap up our talk, guys, for the entertainment world. If you guys want me to cover any specific topics next week, or if you have any thoughts on any of the topics covered in the entertainment world today, let me know. Reach out to us on Instagram at @theflame_es. And now we'll get into some sports talk, starting off in the college football world. All right, guys. So now to start off in the sports world, going to be covering some college football. As I mentioned in the intro, we're not having Pa on today, but we will have him on next week to do a playoff preview as the playoffs are set to begin next weekend. With that said, we have our final, our bracket finalized, and the 12 teams are in, the matchups are in, and yeah, like I said, it all begins next Friday. And it's unfortunate. Obviously, we covered this last week on 2 different episodes. I already gave my thoughts on Miami, and that choking loss that they had against Syracuse, and we ultimately don't make it to the playoff. And I think that's exactly what should have happened based off of the way we ended the season. I don't think we deserve to be to have been given the opportunity to compete for this championship. I don't think we were maybe we would have gotten in, maybe compete in the first round or something. But I just feel like overall we weren't a championship team yet. With that said, I still am proud of the progress that Mario Cristobal and this regime has shown 3 years in. To go 10-2, I think is a huge home run, and I think for that, Cristobal and his team should be congratulated. Obviously, it was a disappointing end, but it is what it is. Now we just gotta hope that they learn and that they're more prepared going forward, and they hire some better assistants perhaps for next season. So with that said, here's a bracket. I have it pulled up here on my phone. So the first seed is Oregon, the second seed is Georgia, the third seed is Boise State, and the fourth seed is Arizona State. Pretty crazy. Obviously, Oregon and Georgia, if you were to say that before the season, it wouldn't have shocked people, being that Oregon, they're great last year, and coming in with Dylan Gabriel, and he's a veteran quarterback that's been around for a while. And then of course Georgia, they're the back-to-back defending champions, so I don't think people would have been shocked at those two. But the other two, I think people would have been super shocked by Boise State and Arizona State. Then at the fifth seed we have Texas. Then we have Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, Indiana, SMU, and Clemson. The matchups right now will be Texas hosting Clemson, Ohio State hosting Tennessee, Penn State hosting SMU, and Notre Dame hosting Indiana. Then the first 4 seeds, Arizona State, Boise State, Georgia, and Oregon all have a first round bye. And yeah, it was a crazy week as well last weekend, for the conference championship games. Like the fact that Clemson won the ACC is mind blowing. They beat SMU. Georgia beat Texas once again. Texas only has 2 losses this year, and they both come against Georgia. So, a lot went on. Obviously, Boise State won their conference, so they're in. Arizona State, I think they came in last week and ranked like 16th, and look, now they're a 4th seed with a first round bye. So it's amazing to see. Obviously, it's tough as a Miami fan, being with the season we had, with, arguably the best offense in the country, arguably the best quarterback in the country. It's tough, that we're not going to be able to be in this playoff. But at the end of the day, like I've said multiple times on here, we controlled our own destiny, and ultimately we didn't come through. So that's what we get in return. So it is what it is. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure to at least mention, the bracket. And like I said, stay tuned next week. We'll have a special college football talk playoff preview with Paul coming your way next week ahead of next week's first round matchups. And now we're going to move on a little bit to stick with football. We're gonna go to the NFL where the Dolphins picked up a huge overtime 6-point victory against the New York Jets, and we keep our playoff hopes alive. We are currently 6-7 on the year. We basically gotta win our final 4 games, even have a chance to compete to the playoff. But at the end of the day, you gotta take that one game mentality. But yeah, to give some quick thoughts on this game with the Jets, it was overall. It wasn't an ideal game. Ultimately, the main thing is to win, and that's what we did. And I'm never gonna complain about my team winning, but I do have to admit, for good portions of the game, I was pretty disappointed, and it kind of looked like we were being outplayed and outcoached by a team with a worse record and with an interim head coach. But ultimately, in the fourth quarter, the defense stepped it up. Throughout the first 3 quarters, they looked pretty damn bad. Like, they couldn't stop the Jets whatsoever. And the offense, for the majority of the game, I would say they're kind of like up and down. They weren't horrible, but they weren't as good as they usually are. And then in the fourth quarter, the defense made like back-to-back big stops. And then finally, in the final drive of the fourth quarter, 56 seconds left, no timeouts. We were able to drive down the field. Jason Sanders hit, I believe, a 51 or 52-yard field goal to tie the game and send it into overtime. Then thankfully, overtime, we won the coin toss and we drove straight down the field. It was Tua's first overtime game. I think he went 6 for 7 for 67 yards, and then that game-winning strike to Jonnu Smith, an amazing throw. And that's something I got to talk about. Now that I said Jonnu Smith, it was so disappointing throughout the first 4 quarters of this game. Mike McDaniel was not using Jonnu Smith, which makes absolutely no sense, as he's been, Tua's number one weapon since he came back in that, what was it, Arizona or Buffalo game? Whichever game was first. I think Arizona. But yeah, it was super disappointing. And then finally, in overtime in that final game-winning drive, he used Jonnu Smith, and look what happened. So it's just, those little things that McDaniel continues to do 3 years in are just super frustrating. He leaves your best weapons on the sideline, and it's just like very frustrating. But like I said, I'm not gonna complain. We won the game, and now we live to fight another day. Now we head to Houston this Sunday at 1:00. We play over there at NRG Stadium against the Texans, and yeah, we just gotta win it. Like I said, 4 games left. We just gotta win out to have a shot to sneak in as a wild card for this year's NFL playoffs. But with that said, for this Houston game, I believe it's gonna come down to discipline. And unfortunately, we've shown that we're not very disciplined. We commit a lot of false starts, a lot of holdings, a lot of, the delay of games, the plays coming in late from the sidelines. And it's a lot of like annoying flags like that separate you from being an average team to a great team. And I feel a team like Houston, right? Like, look, they have a good record. They're a good team. But I feel they currently have that record because they're a very disciplined team. It's not necessarily that they're like outmatching or outpowering any opponent. So I just really believe the key to victory in this one for Miami will be to be more disciplined than you've been ever before this season. And yeah, I think that's going to be the key to victory in this game against Houston. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Once again, it'll be 1:00 on Sunday in Houston. Then to talk a little bit about the Kansas City Chiefs as they move on to 12-1, and they're still the team to beat, in my opinion, in the NFL. They've had some crazy ways of winning this year, a lot of nail-biting wins. They blocked the field goal. They've had some crazy moments. And what they did this past week was just insane. They go for a game-winning field goal and against the Chargers, and it hits, one side of the field goal post, and it bounces in. And, yeah, they win the game, So to me, I know people are like, oh, what, voodoo are they doing, or why do they have all this luck? And to me, the Chiefs are the number one team in terms of doing things the right way from the top to the bottom. So to me, that's good karma. And also, they're a team that's very close to God. They look at Bible, scriptures before each game. And I think that's another reason as to why they're so successful and why they have such good, energy going their way. Just because they do things the right way and with the right intention. So, congratulations to them. And, as a football fan, it's just amazing to see a team like this, Now let's move on a little bit to the NBA, where the Miami Heat are currently on a 3-game winning streak. We just beat the Suns, and then we beat the Cavaliers. Back-to-back games. The Cavs currently have the best record in the league. We pretty much controlled that whole game. Tyler Hero, I would say, was our best overall player. Bam did pretty good. Jimmy did pretty good. The rest of the guys, did what they had to do to secure that W against the Cavaliers. But Tyler Hero was just named Player of the Week, and he's been on a tear this season, having his best season so far, 6 years in, and it's amazing to see. Then, of course, this week we got some news about a potential Jimmy Butler trade from Shams Charania, and a lot of people are going crazy about it. I want to give my quick take on it. I don't think this report came from Jimmy's side or from the Heat side. I think it came from one of the teams that are looking to trade for Jimmy and to create some controversy and drama, being that the Heat are currently playing their best ball of the season. So, yeah, I don't think it's from the Heat or Jimmy. I ultimately think Jimmy finishes the season here. Beyond that, who knows? But I think he'll finish the season as a member of the Miami Heat. And, our next matchup will be Thursday night here at home against the Toronto Raptors. And, yeah, we're looking really good. We're finally coming together, health-wise. And, yeah, it's been a great, it was a great week last week for the Heat. And, hoping we continue it this week, starting off with the Raptors on Thursday night. With that said, too, a pretty cool story to mention. Last week, I was able to meet a couple Heat players, Kevin Love and Jaime Jaquez Jr. And, yeah, just wanted to say, Kevin Love, super cool. He's exactly what we all think he is, just a super down-to-earth guy, and Jaime was super cool as well. It was just a cool moment. I was also able to go to, Jimmy Butler. He opened his coffee shop here in Miami on Friday, Big Face Coffee. And, congratulations to Jimmy and his team. They did a great job. I was able to go on Friday, had a couple cups of coffee, and it was great. It's a beautiful setup, super unique-looking coffee shop, and, yeah, they just did a great job with all that. So I just wanted to, I wanted to mention those cool moments. Now to move on to some MLB talk for a little bit. Haven't talked baseball in here in a while. Of course, the big news right now, not just in baseball, but in all of sports, Juan Soto, the one of the best hitters in the game of baseball, currently had a great season with the New York Yankees. He just decided to leave and head to the crosstown rivals, the New York Mets, and he signs a historic 15-year, $765 million deal, the biggest contract ever given to a professional athlete. Congratulations to Juan Soto. Congratulations to the New York Mets. I love this. I love Soto to the Mets. I think it's a perfect match. I think they for both sides, I think it's ideal, and I'm excited to see what the Mets do going forward. So I just wanted to mention that really quickly, and then also to talk about the Miami Marlins, who once again traded one of their fan favorites, my favorite player, Jake Burger, aka Burger King. That was my guy. We traded him late, a little past midnight Wednesday, and yeah, it was just that one really shook me. Obviously, I'm used to it at this point with the Marlins, but Jake Burger was one of those extra special guys. So I just want to, say thank you to him for all the contributions he made to Miami and to the Marlins in his short time here. And yeah, wishing him and his family all the best as they now go to the Texas Rangers, and hopefully he has a shot to compete for a World Series sometime soon. But yeah, it was just super disappointing. It's a big letdown. I've tried to be positive with this new regime with Peter Bendix in the front office, but this trade ultimately for me just feels like a slap in the face to every single Marlins fan out there. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure to mention it on here. But yeah, super disappointing. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. All I could do is give my opinion on it, and yeah, that's what I did. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up the sports talk for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Flame Entertainment and Sports. Hope you guys enjoyed all the topics we covered in the entertainment world and the sports world. Make sure to keep up with us on Instagram and TikTok at @theflame_ES. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, everyone, take care.